Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for my Moon and Synastry Through the Houses podcast series. I'm doing all of these on the windiest day ever. Just so you know, in case you hear this background craziness going on, this wind is pretty powerful today. It's blowing stuff around. So anyway, in this podcast, I'm talking about the synastry placement of the moon in the 5th house. If you're one of the fortunate ones to have this, it's pretty darn good placement to have. Obviously, because the 5th house is the house of fun. It's a house of leisure, love, romance, play, games, and sporting, and gambling, and pool parties, and just having fun, self-expression. It's Leo's house, and you know how Leos are. They can be the star of the show. They're expressive and positive. They shine like the sun. So it's like this house is where you are able to express yourself, and the sign on this house is how you express yourself and what you like and love and for fun and all that stuff. So the moon is our emotional natures. It's how we express love. It's what we want in love or what we need to feel secure. It's also representative of our mothers, our home life. It's intuitive. It's very intuitive, and it's also sensitive. So when your moon or your partner's moon is in your 5th house, then the house person provides basically a fun house for the moon person, so they can be encouraging and, trying to bring out the more fun part of the moon. Now, you always have to look at the synastry, as I've been saying in every one of my podcasts. You have to look at the aspects being made to the moon person in order to truly understand how this will play out in synastry, because every aspect affects every other aspect. So, this is just generally speaking if the moon has no aspects to it. Because if the moon person has Saturn square their moon or opposite their moon, then they may not be the most expressive, emotionally expressive, and just expressive, happy-go-lucky person. They might be more serious, bringing that into your fun playhouse. So both people are affected. Always. Both people are affected. The house person is affecting the moon person, and the moon person is bringing that emotional moon energy into the house person. So if the moon is a really fun, vibrant sign, like an Aries, and doesn't have any other aspects to it, they can encourage the house person to be more creative, to step outside their box, to step on their soapbox and start saying what they, express themselves to the world. But if the moon is in a more, softer emotional sign or reserve sign, like a Cancer moon, they bring more nurturing energy, a supportive role into that fun house. And the fun house person or the house person, 5th house person, depending upon the sign of that house, will bring out that side of the moon person. So, if the house person's 5th house is in Aries and they're all about just going after what they want and very expressive and confident and bold, and the moon person is obviously their moon is in sign of Aries, they match each other in terms of fun, in terms of wanting to have the same sort of fun and encouraging each other and being expressive and playful. The moon in the 5th house is a playful position. You guys like to hang around and just play and have fun. Now, this is if there's no other aspects stopping this or blocking the moon from being able to express this. So it's also a really good placement for having children, for being around children, for enjoying being around children and playful together. It's very supportive role. It's a very supportive role for the moon, to support the fifth house person in their creative endeavors. But it's a very supportive placement in general, where each one typically wants to, have fun together and be expressive together and be playful together. On the more negative side, it can be competitive when it comes to sports, because it also has sports and gaming and gambling. And that, again, depends on aspects to the moon or to, in the house person's chart, own individual chart, of whether or not they're competitive, like hard aspects with Mars or Pluto, will show that whether or not this can be a more competitive placement. But typically, it's very romantic, very playful, very encouraging for self-expression and for creative endeavors like the artists and the actors, playwriters, whatever. Also sports, tennis players, basketball players, whatever. People that like to go have fun and party. It's that type of placement, but it's generally a feel-good, happy placement, and it's awesome to have for a love affair, for a long-term relationship. Hopefully you have more stabling aspects in the rest of the synastry that shows commitment, but like I said, you cannot depict a relationship based on one placement and one aspect. So this is just to give you an overall feel of what it is. It's a very emotionally supportive, encouraging, playful house, and this is it affects both people, and each person will have an effect on the other. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the bell in order to get notified of all my uploads. If you found me on my website, hey, nice to see you here. If you found me on YouTube, you can visit my site at www.illumastrology.blogspot.com to read more about all the other aspects if you prefer to read rather than listen to a podcast. I have people requesting both, so I started to do both. But each one has something different to offer. My writing has something to offer, and my podcasts have, something else. So thank you so much for listening. I'm doing this whole series today in the moon for the moon placements. So if you are interested in another one, just keep checking back. I'm trying to get them all done today. All right. Thanks so much for listening, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a fabulous day.